I've seen a lot of videos in the past few days pop up in my news feed about look at what this ex-Navy SEAL Super Turbo Ranger pararescue guy carries in his pockets, and how does he set up his AR, and well, let's talk about what a normal everyday beat cop carries off duty. Hopefully this will give you some ideas as a responsibly armed citizen as well as the type of things that you can add to your EDC, and it doesn't really cost you any comfort or anything like that, because a lot of the things I'm going to talk about here, this is all life-saving equipment, life-saving tools, and if you can be a force multiplier for your community and yourself, remember you're your own first responder, so expecting that paramedics or the police are going to be there when something happens, probably not the case. So you should be prepared for several contingencies and eventualities. First, we're going to talk about my EDC pistol. That is the Sig Sauer P320X Carry. Great handgun. I've got a pretty substantial round count through the P320 platform and a decent round count through this pistol now. I've become a very big fan. This is one of the upgraded trigger packs, and I have a +2 Terran base plate on a 17-round magazine and a basic little Kydex holster for it. That's my EDC. I don't like pocket guns personally for EDC purposes. It's very seldom I'll use one unless I'm out jogging, but if I'm going into town or running any errands, throw the pants on, throw the good quality EDC belt on, just a basic 511 one, nothing super Gucci or worth throwing on the table, and I carry the P320. An additional 2 mags are in something off frame, and I will show you how I carry my backup magazines and when I will carry those. I did add additional capacity to those as well recently. Those are +5s on a 17-round magazine. So let's go ahead and slide the pistol out of frame. We'll talk about some of the other goodies up here. Flashlights are essential for EDC, 100%. You need to be able to see what you're doing. So Streamlight makes a great product. This particular flashlight can take AA's or CR123A batteries. Having the ability to go to something very common like a AA is awesome, though you do lose about half the lumen capability of this flashlight when you do so. I have several of these in my EDC rotation, and highly recommend Streamlight products for the price point. There really is no good competition in my opinion, just based on the volume of Streamlight stuff I've used through the years. I know some people have some issues with some of the buttons and things, but you're always going to find your detractors from any and all products. Next up, we have some items from Recycled Firefighter. Now, this is a salute to what every police officer wishes they were, was a firefighter. Every single officer I spoke with before becoming a cop myself, especially the seasoned guys, would say, hey man, so you want to be a cop? Well, let me give you some good advice. Go be a firefighter. So this is a salute to that fact that I should have been a firefighter. Like all police officers, it's something we aspired to do, and well, here we are. So this little pocket caddy from Recycled Firefighter has been pretty useful in helping keep track of my EDC stuff. Inside I've got a little Leatherman squirt, and then I've got a backup handcuff key. This also has a little loop for a pen, though I haven't been using a pen in here for a little while, just over concerns that I may bust the pin in my pocket, which would suck and ruin a pair of pants. Most of my daily cutting and opening tasks throughout the day are typically done with a squirt. Haven't really needed the big folder here that we'll talk about in just a second, but we'll get into why I carry that knife. So here we have the big beefy Tops knife. These are awesome knives. Tops was started by some Vietnam veterans who found that the knives that they were issued or that were accessible at the time were generally junk for jungle warfare. Every single Tops knife is incredibly overbuilt. They're essentially all glorified pry bars, and the reason I carry this, especially in an off-duty capacity, would be to cut seat belts. Again, everything here is essentially a life-saving tool or a tool to make life a little easier. So having the ability to cut seat belts, having the ability to, if you had to defend yourself as a backup or need to make more space, you should definitely be carrying some type of beefy folding knife, and this is the one that I choose to carry. Big fan of Tops. Highly recommend Tops knives. Then of course up next I've got a wallet from Recycled Firefighter. I purchased their little RFID cards to secure my cards in my wallet. It is very easy to rip cards off now with the whole chip thing, so definitely worth doing if you have a basic leather wallet. What's cool about this one is it also has a little strap on the back for your money, And the leather material is actually from some rejected Army combat boots. I thought that was kind of neat, so I picked that up for my new daily EDC wallet. Up next, we have this ankle medical kit from North American Rescue. I've had this for over 2 years now, and I'll show you some of the wear points on it. This is something I'm very passionate about. I think every single person in the country as an adult should be carrying this 100% of the time. You're not always going to be able to carry your pistol as a responsibly armed citizen, but you can always carry this. This is TSA compliant. There's no reason you can't carry some medical equipment on your person. Learn how to use it. Hemorrhaging is still one of the leading causes of death in the United States, and we can stop that. This is such a preventable death. Most people have no idea how to stop bleeding, and it's pretty frightening when you realize how few people actually know how to use a tourniquet, or know how to use quick clot, or plug a wound, or how to apply a pressure dressing or a shell dressing. They don't know how to do it. Just like very few people in the country really know how to do the Heimlich maneuver or CPR. The stats are frightening. So make sure you go out and you get something like this for your EDC. And one of the big reasons is, as well, if you have the ability to make holes, you should probably have the ability to plug holes, right? We want to save lives. The whole idea here is life preservation, and you're actually far more likely to probably need this than you ever will need your pistol. So definitely keep an ankle kit on your person. They also make some rigs that can go inside the waistband, so you just go up a pant size or two, and then you can carry inside the waistband and put medical stuff on the other side. Got to do it, man. I'm telling you. Please, please, we can absolutely stop the hemorrhaging epidemic in this country. So we'll take a look at some of the wear points on this. Very marginal. I will tell you, though, that these are very likely from the Velcro to tear up the top of the shoe or the boot of the leg you wear this on. It will definitely cause some rubbing, but it does take quite some time to do that. So if once you start to see some rubbing, you might be able to do some intervention if that's something that's going to bother you, that your shoe's getting a little bit torn up. But that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make to have a tourniquet and the ability to stop the bleed on my person. Which brings me to my next piece of kit. I've done a separate review on this bag. This is the Bob from Progressive Force Concepts. Just looks like a standard little man purse satchel. So I've got a rapid identification little panel here. What's cool is behind this is a 8x10 level 3A ballistic plate. The top part of this bag has the same thing. So there's a little gap here in the armor, but you've essentially got a plate carrier on the front of your body when you pull down on the straps. Or if you wanted this to just hang by your side for rapid identification purposes, that's more than likely how I would employ this. Even on a motorist assist or something along those lines, throw a highly reflective vest on, you've got this out, that way people can see you, especially in a dark environment, which brings me to some of the contents of the bag itself that we'll get into momentarily. So here I have my little taco pouch. I've got my backup magazines with the +5 Terran base plates on them. So go ahead and pull those out. It'll be a little easier to work with this. In the top of the bag, I have this rapid identification beanie. So same thing, motorist assist or an active threat event. I can throw this on my head, should I remember, and I will be visible from the sides and the back as one of the good guys, so hopefully I don't get fragged by responding law enforcement or responsible armed citizen. The inners of the kit. Now, Progressive Force Concept, I will say, does sell a IFAK for these as well, and over time I've actually just decided to build up the interior of the bag myself. So here we go. Starting with some basic EMT shears. Probably upgrade these at some point, but these are good enough for now. Got a basic emergency compression bandage. I'd recommend sticking with a bigger brand like North American Rescue or something to that effect, but that's just kind of a stopgap for the moment. I was able to buy several of those real cheap on sale, so it's going to work for now. Then on each side of that pressure dressing, I have not one, but 2 additional cat tourniquets. If you are dealing with a major critical incident event or mass casualty event, 1 tourniquet is wholly inadequate. especially if you're the first one there. Remember that ankle kit that I showed you? My thought process here is this is for me. This is to stop bleeding on me. I'm not giving this away to anyone, depending on the scenario. If the threat and the scene is not totally safe, this stays with me. This is mine. The stuff in this bag is meant for family members and anyone at the scene. And this could be, again, as simple as coming up on a flipped vehicle or someone is hemorrhaging and you're one of the first people to show up to that scene. And then additionally, last bit of kit in here is a chest seal. Now we do have at least one case now stateside where someone's life has been saved by a chest seal. We were waiting on this to come through. We didn't really have any studies done yet, but now we know for sure that here stateside, chest seals can absolutely save lives, just like they do overseas. It wasn't that long ago in the EDC world, or even in the law enforcement or security world, it was very uncommon for officers or guys to carry even one tourniquet on their duty belt. And I'm happy to see that that's now the norm, and I'm happy to see that it's quickly becoming the norm that responsible armed citizens and off-duty law enforcement are starting to carry tourniquets off-duty as well. So go out there, find the bit of kit that's going to work for you, find the setup for you that you will use and that you will carry. Please, again, I implore and encourage you to get and start with something at least really basic like this. I always have that on me. I may not always have the bob. It might stay in my vehicle, but 9 times out of 10 lately it's been going in. Anytime I run an errand, anytime I go anywhere, I bring the bob with me. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If there's anything that you think I left out here, or there's anything that maybe that you think that you might like to add to your EDC setup from the stuff I've shown you, please make sure to like, subscribe to my channel. Again, find me on Patreon, find me on Bitchute, find me on UGETube. Thanks for watching.